What is poppin', y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Cheap Seats podcast. I am your handsome host, Wire to Wire Gene, and right above me, I got the man that runs the one that's ones the tubes, the king of the production manager of Sports Empire Network. We got Kyle Edwards. How you feeling tonight, Kyle?
I'm good. How you guys doing? Excited for another great show.
In the upper right corner, I got Big Brian coming back to us, killing it on the Cheap Seats podcast.
What's good, fellas?
What's up?
And then we got Big J, Jordan, Gene, Lewis. Big J.
Shit, man. How y'all doing today, man? Blessed to see another day. Good to hear some good news about Damar Hamlin. Great news. So let's keep up for him, man. Let's keep on praying.
Guys, I just got a work emergency that just hit me up. I will be back on shortly, but y'all can start the show. I'll get my question third, but I'll be back on shortly.
Hey, man, that's life, but don't need to apologize, man. Things come up.
All right. Which one do you guys want to start with your question? Let's start with Jordan.
Yeah,
out there.
I'm on the spot. All right. So I had my original question, I guess, got scratched, but the second one is a more killer question would be for the players that you guys have watched throughout your years watching NBA basketball. Name me your top three pure scorers. I'm not talking about like a Ray Allen. I'm talking about like pure scorers. You know what I'm saying? So Kyle, want to go first?
I got you.
Yeah, just get a bucket, man. Just put the ball in the basket.
Okay. So you want three? That's gonna be tough. That I've seen.
It's tough. That's tough.
I would probably have to put. Probably gotta put Jordan up there. I mean, he could get a bucket. I don't want to miss anybody. That's the thing.
I mean, somebody got to get left out because you only got three.
I know. I don't want to name some random person and have a Marcus moment up on here today.
Here we go.
Nah, Reggie Miller's more of a shooter. I mean, McGrady was kind of a bucket. I'm not gonna lie. And man. Melo?
Okay.
That's the three I can come up with right now. By the time we finish this conversation, I may have another one, but that's the three that first popped in my mind. I'll go with that.
Are we overlapping players? Do I have to pick three that you did not select?
I mean, there's some players that he left out.
See,
I mean, obviously McGrady is a good one.
You stole two of mine because I was gonna go MJ and Tracy McGrady. That was 1 and 2 for me. So I'm gonna go Iverson, Kobe, and KD.
Okay. Mine would have to be MJ, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. The third one is I could say Curry because he's a shooter though. That's
the only reason I didn't put every reason I put Curry in mind is when I look at pure score, I don't look at him as the number one option that he has is trying to hit a three. Getting as far away from the basket as he can and jacking up a shot. I think of scorer as wherever he's trying to get to on the floor, whether it's in the paint,
he'll get to
a three, a step back, or just taking somebody off the dribble. Oh, you know what? Damn, I forgot Jamal Crawford. That was one of my other ones that I wanted to put in there because that cat
was a bucket.
No matter wherever he was at, didn't matter how even 15 years in the league, he was still getting in the paint. He was pulling up for a jumper, or he was that. To me, that was for his size one of the best pure scorers I've ever watched.
That's not a bad answer. Crawford was a problem.
Yeah.
With Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, Jamal
Yeah.
Crawford.
So I have
In
Jordan.
Atlanta, watching him.
So I got
So you
Jordan,
got Jordan,
Larry.
Larry
my
Bird
third,
right
I
now. So
don't-
who's your third?
My third, man. I'm gonna have to go with. Would you count Dirk as one?
It's up to you.
Yeah. What's up? Yeah.
Do you want to count him as a scorer?
Because like the way you said it, because he's a big man, he had that step back fadeaway
Mm-hmm.
that no one could stop. I mean, he's
Yeah.
like the modern day Joker right now. You know, I mean, obviously he couldn't pass the ball like Joker, but as far as like backing up in the paint, creating that shot, I'm gonna have to go with Dirk.
I think Dirk is more skilled scoring than what Joker is. Joker is better, like I said, when he passing and stuff like that. Yeah, but actually on the move, step back with the three and whatever else, I look at Dirk as a better scoring option than what Joker is.
Right. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Jordan, Magic. Or, I'm sorry, Jordan, Larry, Jordan, Larry, and Dirk for my top three
I
pure
guess
scorers.
for Brett, he has underrated scorer Adrian Dantley. Unfortunately, I didn't really watch him play. I think that was a little bit before me.
Yeah, that's a little
Alex English, I know all about him. Once again, I don't think I really watched him play.
nah.
Yeah, Brett. These are more like players you watched play.
Yeah,
I'm not
players we
sure,
watched.
Right. Maybe Brett was. I don't know how old Brett is. Maybe he watched those players.
Yeah.
German Jesus.
German Jesus, yep.
I mean, because Dirk was nice. Dirk is super nice. Like I said, I give him credit. I just look at him as he's a scorer, but I didn't see him take too many people off the dribble. And besides trying to back you down and just get that fadeaway off. So I mean, I still count that. Still not a wrong answer, but yeah. Dirk's not going to be my first choice when it comes to scoring.
I was saying with this, the way when he was in the paint, like no one had an answer for that fadeaway. Just the way he had that.
Are you
7 feet?
I
Yeah.
mean,
Sorry,
Almingus was over 7 foot. He didn't. All right.
We just had a robbery of one of my stores.
Oh man,
It's ridiculous. People just need to chill. But listen, who did y'all give so far? If y'all don't, I'm hopping back in.
So Kyle, you said Jordan, or you can go ahead.
Yeah, I had Jordan, Tracy McGrady, and Melo.
T-Mac's a great answer.
Yeah.
Brian, who did Brian give?
I had I forgot now. Iverson.
Okay.
Let's see. Shit, cause I threw myself off with Jamal Crawford, but it was Iverson, KD, and damn, I forgot my third one.
Yeah, who? Iverson, KD.
As I said, Iverson, KD.
And Big J, you went with
I don't forgot now.
you went with Dirk Nowitzki.
That's my third. Yeah.
Who was your first two?
Jordan and Magic. I'm sorry, Jordan and Larry Bird.
Okay. So my three before when I heard this question, I thought it was a great question. Good job, Big J. My three are Carmelo Anthony. Guy with
I was gonna put him.
instant offense. Guy could score with the best of them. One of the best one-on-one players you'll ever watch. ISO ball. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is, once again, how do you stop him? You just can't stop him. And I think this is going to sound a little blasphemous, and it's okay because I think Jordan was the better overall player, but Kobe Bryant would be my
That was my
third.
other one. Yeah.
Kobe just dropped 81 in a game like it was just nothing. Guy, when he was on, he was unstoppable, constantly worked on his game, and they would be my three. So I go Carmelo, KD, and then Kobe Bryant. But the short list I have off is T-Mac, man. T-Mac in his prime it's just like right there, right?
We should do like top 5 pure score though. Top 3 is so hard to pick.
That's the
But that's the tough part.
Yeah.
Because like we were thinking about Curry, but Curry is he's just like like Brian pointed out, like Curry's like the number one option. You know what I'm saying? As far as like going to the bucket like a Kevin Durant, he can shoot, but instead of going to the paint, dunking it. You know what I'm saying? Curry
Well,
can't.
when I look at a score, that's unguardable. Like I think someone can get in Kerry's bag and oh man, I like it.
Depending on how old you are, that's the thing with that one. Yeah, because I mean, under if you 35 and under, then I can understand the Kobe reference then. But yeah, nah, coming up with me, it was MJ all day.
Listen, and MJ was a better overall player than Kobe. MJ was clutch. He was smarter, in my opinion, as far as like the way he played the game. He was a better leader. He seemed to score when he needed to, but he was also an All NBA defender.
Yeah.
He wanted to win so badly that he just gave it 1,000,000% on both ends of the court. Whereas I think Kobe was a better scorer. Like there were years where Kobe Bryant's defense was incredible, but Kobe played defense when Kobe wanted to play defense. Like I liken it to the way LeBron was in the when he was. Do you remember when LeBron went against Derrick Rose during Derrick Rose's MVP year?
Yeah.
And he would guard him just in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was 2 points, 4 points, 2.0 points, 2 points. That was the MVP of the league in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And he had 10 total points in 5 games.
Yeah.
Like that's insanity to me. But LeBron played defense when he wanted to play defense. So did Kobe. Whereas Jordan couldn't lose a game, right? Like it'd be a regular season game 63 and someone would piss him off and it would light a switch in his head. Yeah. Like I'm serious though. Like if you remember Jordan, you remember how nuts he was.
Yeah.
He was a psycho. He was an absolute psychopath.
Oh, but you remember they did in the Olympics with Tony Kukoc. It was
Jordan and Pippen. The whole thing with Tony was because they didn't pay. That whole thing with Tony was because they didn't pay Scotty, right?
Yeah.
That's what that was. Like Scotty didn't get paid, and Jordan and Pippen were about to like show the Bulls front office why they made a mistake in not paying Scotty and paying Tony.
Yeah, and they did.
They abused that, man. That bail was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go second today, if you guys don't mind. I love this question, right? So there's a lot of the coaching carousel has already started. There's been a lot of coaches fired already, and there's still meetings set up for today, tomorrow, and the next day. So we'll not be shocked if you see more coaching firings. I posted this list on my Twitter earlier at Wire to Wire Sports Podcast, and I will add it to here. Who do you think are the top coaching candidates to replace the current missing head coaches, and where do you think they'll go? And I think that I'll start right. Let me start with with what I have, and you guys can tell me what you guys think, and then we'll go around the horn. Mm-hmm. So for the Broncos, I have Shane Steichen. I think he's a perfect fit for the Broncos because he has experience with a mobile quarterback designing the offense around Jalen Hurts. For the Texans, I have Jonathan Gannon. He was almost hired last year. He's the Eagles' defensive coordinator. He went through 2 interviews last year, and then all of a sudden they hired Lovie Smith, which, by the way, I want to get into the Texans situation afterwards. With the Panthers, I have Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores is well-deserving of a job, and I have him going to the Carolina Panthers. I think the Colts will pry Jim Harbaugh away from Michigan. I think the Cardinals are one of the best jobs out there, and I think they'll get DeMeco Ryans. I think the Cowboys will end up firing Mike McCarthy and hiring Dan Quinn, their defensive coordinator. The Commanders will go with the offensive he's basically one of the offensive assistants on the San Francisco 49ers. His name is Chris Forster. A lot of people don't know who that is. That's a name to look out for. And then here's my wild card. This coach has not been fired, and this team is in the playoffs. I think the Chargers will fire Brandon Staley after losing at Jacksonville and get Sean Payton. So they're my picks for the top coaching hires and where I think they'll go.
Okay. Uh,
Is there like an
I'll say
available
for
list of like of coach? No, I mean I don't want to go yet. I just want to see if there's like a website for like the updated like available coaches left because some of the
I
coaches
mean,
are still on their
you'll be able to find
like Ken
hot.
Dorsey. I heard he's on the line still. Like it's all around.
I mean, the other one I've been really thinking about is this Houston job because they keep doing
Yeah.
this one and done thing with coaches, and I think it's a stupid way to operate. And the name that popped in my head was D'Amico Ryans for there because I think Ryans played in Houston. I feel like he would be the guy coming from the Niners organization, could create a culture. Maybe he has like a Dan Campbell type effect down there. You pair him up with a young quarterback that you draft this year, and you just give him 5 years. 5 years, figure it out, see where you are, and then look to move on. They can't do another, you know, talk to a couple people, then hire some random person, and then we're in the same situation next year where they're firing a guy because now the players are sitting around looking like what are we doing here? Brandon Cooks has already come out talking about I don't want to deal with a rebuild because he's got to be frustrated being down there, and that's the guy I like for Houston, D'Amico Ryans. But a lot of the names you named, Gene, make a lot of sense where you called them out. So
Can I
that
tell
was the
you
only one
why?
I would really say.
Can I tell you why Houston will not get D'Amico Ryans? And I'm gonna tell you this right now. D'Amico Ryans has already turned that job down. That place is an absolute dumpster fire. What the Houston Texans did to scapegoat two African American coaches,
Yep.
Yeah.
David Culley and Lovey Smith, the last 2 years, knowing that they were going to suck, is a place that I would avoid like the plague. Right now, they have the number 2 overall pick, and they're probably going to get Bryce Young, so they'll have a franchise quarterback. So it isn't the worst job to walk into, but what it is, it's a job that is basically scapegoated two African American coaches and
Three.
gave them a 1 year. Well,
Romeo Cornell.
Romeo Cornell wasn't ever named the head coach. He was an interim head coach when they
But
fired. No, I follow, but
yeah,
they didn't scapegoat
Mm-hmm.
him. He just basically took over midseason. But the two coaches back to back given 1 year to turn around an awful program without a quarterback, and it's been drafting in the top of the NFL draft is a joke. Now, I've been very
Mm-hmm.
vocal about the fact that the NFL is destroyed. It's just very wrong with the way they handle coaching hirings. It's a good old boys club, which is why I made the decisions when I was looking at the teams of who would hire an African American coach and who wouldn't. Like I knew the Broncos, like people are like the Broncos. I know the Broncos aren't going to do that because the way they handled last year, how awful they handled the Brian Flores interview.
yeah.
Um, I can look at organizations like guys. If I wasn't an Eagles fan, I would immediately be a Jaguars and a Steelers fan tomorrow. Jaguars because of Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson. Steelers because they're one of the best run organizations I've ever watched.
And
Yeah.
Tom is still there. So.
And that's the point.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
my thought process would be
Mhm.
go.
I'm saying for the Rams, like you said, Gene, how or I think we all said that Sean McVay, this might be his last year coaching for the Rams. I think they might. I think they might stay in house and promote Raheem Morris to the head coaching job. He's an offensive-minded coach. He's known some. I mean, obviously he's been in the practice, so he knows some of the players. You know what I'm saying? So I think they go in house and stick with Raheem Morris. Sean McVay has talked highly of him. He said he sees him as a coach somewhere. So there's no point of them going outside the team. And I think they're going to go in house and promote Raheem Morris to the head coaching job.
I mean, Raheem Morris was a head coach, and he was another one that got scapegoated down in Tampa Bay, where that was that one god awful year where they were having a CBA issue, so you didn't have a salary cap, you didn't have a salary floor either. So Tampa Bay had the lowest paid roster in the league by far. And once they fired, I forgot who the head coach was. Raheem Morris was a defensive back coach that got somehow promoted up to head coach because nobody else wanted to take that gig because they knew it was a dead man walking gig. So as an African American with limited coaching options, he jumped in and was like, yeah, I'll do it. Messed around and had a good year with a terrible roster. And once he couldn't duplicate that 10-win season, they was like, oh, okay, yeah, you're doing a terrible job. Let's get you up out of here. It was like they never gave him a team to work with. So it was like after that, I mean, they've done some other good things like Byron Leftwich and but other than that, I was like, that was just a terrible job that they did.
Let's not act like they hired Byron Leftwich. They didn't hire Byron Leftwich.
Well, yeah,
they didn't even hire, like, just to be clear, they didn't even hire. They hired Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
And what Bruce Arians did was he stepped away from the team, which allowed
somebody.
So
Todd
they
Bowles.
They didn't have opportunity to hire a head coach. So they essentially, Bruce Arians forced their hand into, and I'll tell you right now, I don't know why the name is leaving me. Someone help me out. Tampa Bay's head coach right now.
Todd Bowles.
So they kind of forced his hand into hiring Todd Bowles, and I think Todd Bowles is going to be one of the coaching casualties if the Buccaneers don't make it far into the playoffs. I think he'll be let go by the Buccaneers because it's very notable that African American coaches do not get the same opportunities white coaches do in the NFL. All you have to do is look at Jim Caldwell in Indianapolis. That's why I knew Jim Irsay was a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning, right before the season starts, has neck surgery. He's left with Dan Orlovsky as his backup quarterback, and he gets fired after 1 year.
Yep.
And it's all you have to do is look at it. They have much shorter leashes on black coaches in the NFL, and it's so obvious. So
yeah.
They got to go to the right situation, guys. They got to. If I was an African American coach, I would turn down poor situations, and I would go to the right situation. I would wait for the right situation. DeMeco Ryans can't go to Houston. Why?
No.
He's the best defensive coordinator.
It's going to be this.
Got the whole league by the ball. Why would he go to that dumpster fire? Go to a situation where an organization is going to commit to you.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Flores, same thing.
That's all I was saying. Yeah. If Houston had any sense, Ryans would be the guy. But from the past 2 years, if I was Ryans, I wouldn't feel comfortable taking an interview down there.
Yeah, the only reason I would think that he possibly would is he did play there. So that's the only thing.
Mm-hmm. I think they have front office issues too that they need to clean up before.
Understatement of the year.
Ryans would probably be interested.
In and out. Just fire head coaches as soon as they have a bad season. Look what Jim Caldwell did with the Detroit Lions. And look how long they gave Matt Patricia. Caldwell had them in the playoffs. They were a blown call away from beating the Cowboys to win a playoff game. Y'all remember
winning record.
And they fired him.
Fired him with a winning record, yeah.
Who was the coach for the Bengals? Not currently. Was it Marvin Lewis?
Marvin Lewis.
Yeah.
Marvin Lewis. I feel like
I'm gonna be real with you. Marvin Lewis had all the opportunity in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right about that.
I'm talking about coaches that are
that deserve that. Yeah.
That are scapegoated after 1 year or after a
Brian
bad
Flores
year.
was just the start of it.
Brian Flores, and I've spoke at length about this on multiple shows, Wire to Wire, Pregame, and Pigskin. Brian Flores guys, I'm not kidding with you. I think it was 2019. Miami Dolphins, I'm going to pull up the exact scorecard. Miami Dolphins, opening day versus the Baltimore Ravens.
That's going to be like Lamar had that 500 passing yard game, right?
Oh, it's Lamar's best game ever. I think it was like 2019. Hold on.
Yeah,
here it is, September 8th, 2019. The Baltimore Ravens beat the Miami Dolphins 59-10. That was Brian Flores' first game as the head coach. He took over a dumpster fire of an organization. Guys, I'm not trying to be smart when I say this. Here's the Dolphins organization. Ryan Fitzpatrick was their starting quarterback. Kenyon Drake was their number one running back. Their wide receivers were Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, Preston Williams, Alan Hearns, Kalen Ballage, who was a backup running back. That was their team, guys. That was their team. He took over that dumpster fire and gave them back-to-back winning seasons the next 2 years.
Yep.
And he got fired after back-to – and the reason he got fired, Brian, the reason he got fired was because he wouldn't cheat.
Right.
He wouldn't do what Stephen Ross wanted him to do. And he got fired for it. And if you don't think that the Miami Dolphins cheated, because they did. They tampered and cheated. If you don't think they cheated, why'd they lose a first and a fourth round pick? Kyle, can I ask you a question real quick? What did the Patriots lose for Spotgate?
Was it a first and a third?
First and a third for cheating in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What? So if you lost a first and a third for getting caught cheating in the Super Bowl, tell me how bad of a situation you have to be in to lose a first and a fourth. And then Stephen Ross's smug ass response was super fun, right? It was, well, we didn't do it. I just wanted to be done with it. What?
Ain't no way.
You give up a first round draft pick because you want to be done with it? You give up number 18 overall because you want to be done with it?
Yeah, ain't no way.
Out of here.
No way.
Sorry, guys. I'm kind of hijacking this.
Oh no.
That's good.
I feel like we need to highlight. I mean, maybe not on this show, maybe, but we need to highlight. I'm all for minority coaches, man. I feel like okay. Like I told Kyle, man. I think the Texans knew what they were doing, hiring Lovie Smith. I thought he was a good fit, but then again, like he came in to turn that team around. But I mean, what is the coach supposed to do like with that kind of roster? It's not
He
fair.
was never a long-term answer down there.
He wasn't even the first, second, or third choice.
He was on a 3-year deal. I guess that doesn't matter.
Nah.
He would have been lucky to see 2 years.
Yeah, he was lucky. And actually, that's one of the
it
dumbest things that I heard today is him winning a game cost him his job because he didn't get the number 1 overall pick. I'm like, if you're getting a number 1 or number 2 overall pick, it really doesn't matter. Your team is garbage anyway. You need more than just that number 1 pick. So even if you did get, I don't care unless it was Caleb Williams coming out and you think that that's going to be your franchise quarterback for the next 15 years, cool. I can understand that. But I don't even think Caleb Williams is in the draft this year.
Nope.
Bryce Young is good, but it's going to be, to me, it's going to be another Tua Kyler Murray situation where he's too little. He can't. I don't see him taking the abuse that an NFL quarterback is going to receive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, so you penalize a coach for doing his job. I hire a coach to win a football game, not to go out there and just give me the number 1 overall draft pick because that means my team is terrible. So I don't know what kind of organization that is happy to get a number 1 overall draft pick. That means you were trash.
Yeah. And another coach we had not talked about, which is a college coach, is Jim Harbaugh. That's another coach that I don't see. He's more of like an offensive mind. The Colts.
That's what Gene has him going.
Okay.
I mean, he played there. I mean, it's not a bad choice to go there. I mean, I know he already interviewed for Carolina, and then kind of seems like not really interested in that, or Carolina probably doesn't want to pay him.
He hasn't. I don't think he's confirmed that he's left yet, but it's more like he's going to lead the college football.
But see, even between who would you pick between Carolina or the Colts? Now, the roster wise, I would say the Colts have a better roster because neither one of them have a legitimate starting quarterback right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So at that point, if you're looking at the roster, then you're gonna start looking at organization, owner wise, GM, who's the better suited there. Now that's going to be a flip of the coin because Irsay is garbage because he thinks he knows everything, and I don't know what's going on in Carolina, but once they got rid of Matt Rule, they actually started winning a couple of games. So it's just either one of those situations. It's a coin flip as to who's worse and which one would you go to. Now the only thing that I would say about Harbaugh is he does have leverage to where he can come in there and he's more likely guaranteed to get 4 years to quote unquote turn the organization around. So either way, he's going to come out on top, no matter if he goes to Indy, Carolina, or any one of these other places, Denver, let's say.
Yeah.
He's winning because he's going to get 3 years to actually do something.
Do you see him going to the Cardinals with Kyler Murray?
See, I'm not a fan of Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
So when I understand people saying that Cardinals gig is a good one, but looking at what Kyler Murray did going in from off season into the season, where if they're giving you a new contract and they have to put in language of you need to study. Now, I look at that like,
You don't
okay,
see that, and I ain't gonna say
you
nothing.
that's the thing, you never hear that get out. I'm pretty sure other people have had that something like that put into their contract, but that's your franchise quarterback. You're
Mhm.
giving him a ton of money, and you have to put a stipulation in there of you need to study. And outside of that, you really saw who Kyler Murray was during the season when, hey man, the pouting, the yelling at people. He makes a mistake and then telling somebody else, hey man, you were wrong. And you got several other players on the sideline like, bro, you need to chill out with that. You know that was you who messed up. So
Right.
I don't see that being a good situation that whoever the coach is coming in, okay, Kyler, he has talent, but that's I don't see him. I never had him rated as high as some of the other people did. That's just me.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, I've been one who said Kyler Murray needs whoever the next coach is has to be disciplinary, has to be hard nosed because I feel like with Kyler Murray, he feels like he can get away with anything. You know, if he wants to practice hard, cool. If not, I'll see you guys Sunday. I'll run around a little bit. I'll throw some deep balls. We win, we lose. Hmm, I'm the showdown here. And
Yeah,
Kingsbury and him were, I don't know, too buddy buddy or whatever. That I guess Kingsbury probably couldn't tell him anything. And now
obviously he couldn't.
right, and now you're seeing what's happening. Maybe that one time when he blew up on Kingsbury, maybe that was Kingsbury finally trying to say something. And look how Kyler reacted. Got into it with him, national TV, everybody looking like what are you doing? So, I, I mean, Harbaugh, I feel like Harbaugh's personality is probably the right type that Kyler Murray needs. I just don't know if Kyler Murray would really take to that.
And
And
he
and if he does it,
looking
he'll
at
find himself
that's the
out
thing.
real quick.
And looking at what he did with Kingsbury, that was the one guy that was always giving him slack. And every press conference, I don't care how trash Kyler Murray was in the game, he was trying to make an excuse for him. So if you do that to somebody that's willingly throwing themselves out there to make an excuse for you, bro, what you gonna do when somebody else comes in that is like, yo man, he got to do better. It
Mhm.
ain't gonna work. And then they got the report out already saying that the owner is talking about Kyler Murray is gonna have input in who the next coach is.
Yeah, I saw
Okay,
that.
That's
that
risky.
that's
That's
going to be
risky.
that's the worst idea they could ever have. I mean, yeah, you want to have bring somebody in where the philosophy is within what Kyler Murray can do, and he's going to be on board and happy with it. But outside of that, you setting yourself up for failure if you're really letting him have some input on who the next coach is going to be.
Hmm. That's dangerous.
Hire who they hire will tell you a lot about how serious Kyler Murray is about winning too.
What the talking about Kyler Murray? You're talking about Cliff King Stingsbury. So I think
Oh
that the
man.
big thing that we have to understand with Cliff Kingsbury is that he was a soft coach. Kyler Murray needs a coach that is going to challenge him, that's going to demand uh, success. So when you
So
look,
go ahead.
guys,
Yeah, I was gonna say we throw Jim Harbaugh. I was gonna say for that position, but
zero chance Jim Harbaugh takes that job. Jim Harbaugh does not want a brat quarterback. He wants somebody he can.
Right. Yeah.
So like the Indianapolis job makes too much sense because he can draft Will Levis, he could draft C.J. Stroud, he could draft whoever he would like at the quarterback position, and he can mold them the way he wants to mold them. That's the leader of your franchise. The issue with the Arizona job is Arizona needs a hard ass. Arizona needs someone that's going to walk in there and demand success. So I, there's a video on TikTok I love today, and it was Joe Burrow. If there's a 30 for 30 on Joe Burrow and the way he responded to not getting the starting job over Dwayne Haskins in Washington, the way he responded by going to LSU and Coach O and the way he got teared up because he's like, I'm going to work harder. He's like, I don't care if I'm the number 1 overall pick or I'm a 6th round pick. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to outwork everyone. Do you think Kyler Murray has that same mentality?
Not at all.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that the players are playing real hard for Doug Peterson down there in Jacksonville?
Yeah, you can see it. They made the playoffs.
Do you see a difference in the way Trevor Lawrence played this year?
Oh, yeah.
A big step.
So that to me is.
So you're saying the Cardinals need like a Dan Campbell type coach who will like hold the players accountable?
Yes.
But he's more like a defensive coach, though. I feel like he's more like a hybrid offense-defensive coach. He's more defense, though. But.
Yeah, Campbell's defense.
I feel like it wouldn't even matter with Kyler Murray. You just got to get the right attitude, whether he's offensive or defensive. If he's a defensive coach, he can hire the right offensive coordinator. It'd be fine. But it's all about the mentality.
Well, he did get fired. Actually, never mind. He did today. I was gonna say, okay, they had a meeting day, but never mind. He got fired. So.
But did y'all see that Flores is interviewing with Cleveland, or Cleveland wants to talk to him?
Yeah, but isn't that for a defensive coach, not a head coaching job, right? Or is it a head coaching job? I saw defensive coach Brian Flores.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you could be. I mean, I can look it up real quick. I thought I heard defensive coach hiring, but
if he's interviewing for a defensive coordinator job, so request to interview Brian Flores to replace Joe Woods as defensive coordinator. Okay. If I'm Brian Flores, I tell him to go kick rocks. You're working for an organization right now with Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, and you are working in the best organization you can work in that handles coaches the right way. You stay there until you get your head coaching job back again that you deserve. I still think Brian Flores is a top 10 coach in the NFL.
I agree.
So why would you take a defensive coordinator job? Is that a big step up from linebackers coach of the Steelers? And the only reason he took the linebackers coach of the Steelers is because of all the head coaching interviews he had and how bad the situation was with the NFL. The Steelers hired him on just to be on the staff. Like, we'll find a job for you, special assistant, whatever it is. We'll find a spot for you. That's why.
All right. So next topic, is it mine?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right. So this one's draft related.
Okay.
So professional sports. Do you agree with having a draft system in place? If so, then it rolls to, should there be a lottery? Because I hate the tanking for whatever. You go out here putting out a terrible product so you can get a number 1 draft pick. I'm against that. I hate that. So to combat that, if we just got to have a draft, I'm like, institute a lottery. So even though you were terrible and you were trying to be terrible, the squad over here that was end up being bad also, but they weren't trying, at least give me some kind of something to make sure that you do have a competitive product being put out there for entertainment or for your fans. I just hate that old draft, that tanking aspect that we have in sports right now.
Is this for just NBA and NFL, or just
it's for any of them? Yeah,
any of them.
Any of them.
So just to reiterate what Brian's asking, he's instead of having a draft, he is going to make every one of these players coming out of college a free agent. And they can sign with whomever they like. Can I explain to you why that's not going to work?
Oh, I already know why it's not going to work, but go right ahead.
The rich get richer. Because a situation like that, like let's just say the NBA for a minute. Let's just say the number 1 pick coming out of this draft. Hold on. What's the guy's name? NBA. Wembanyama. I can't pronounce it right. So let's just say the Warriors wanted to go all in on a center. If you're not the first overall pick, there's no way the Warriors can add Wembanyama to Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. But that kid can walk into the league and be the starting center for the Warriors next year. Could you imagine LeBron James walking into the NBA and being the starting small forward for like the San Antonio Spurs during that dynasty. And
Now,
I
the
just
only,
I
the only
can't
way
see
that it
that happen.
would, and you still have to look at it, is, especially for NBA, NFL, you do have salary cap that you're working around. So NBA,
Follow.
you got a luxury tax or whatever else like that. And even if you look here, if you listen to Golden State's owner, he's tired of paying that luxury tax. He's like, hey man, we need to get some of this down. So yeah, you could say that, but the minute that they still have to continuously cut that check, and if you're not winning a championship every single year, you will start to look like, all right, man, we got to do something about this payroll because this luxury tax is getting ridiculous. But NFL, you have a hard salary
Brian,
cap.
I love the problem. I just don't know if I agree with the solution. I agree that there's a problem. I just don't know if I agree with that solution. And my mama always told me, if you don't have a solution to a problem, but for me, I can't critique your solution because your solution, unless I have a better one. So I understand it, but I just, off my personal opinion, I don't think it would work. What do you think, Big J?
Like, how does I mean, like, so if you went the route where no, get rid of the draft, like, how would that work? Would the teams go on to a draft pool and just take turns picking teams? Like, how would that work? Because I think a draft, even though yes,
I
tanking
feel
is
like
bad
right
for
from a free agency period, you know
Free
who's
agency
draft
period.
eligible.
Free agency
You
period.
approach them. You try to sign them to your team.
That's it.
I mean, I think even though I hate, like, I'm with you, Brian. Taking is bad for because I feel like if you have a chance to win games, you should win games. But when it comes, I feel like the draft creates like a structure, like an order where teams can't overhaul on so many good players. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
but
you
then
still
again,
wouldn't be able to because you still have a roster that you have, and you still have to pay everybody. So, are you going to just go and load up on a bunch of rookies coming out, and you putting out the youngest team in the league, and you get mollywop for 2 straight years? I don't know if you want to go that route. But if you're smart and you have 2 holes that you need to fill, let me go get the 2 best rookies coming out, sign them up or try to. And and that's what I said. I'm not a fan of Houston Texans firing a coach because he went out there and won a game, and now you can't get the first overall pick, you get the second overall pick. He didn't do what I wanted him to do. Fire the coach. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting thing to think about. Like, I understand the draft lottery and all of what the purpose of it is. You don't want teams being bad year after year after year. But some of these teams that get high draft picks, they don't know what to do with it. They end up drafting the wrong guy, and then you find yourself back there once again. So, I mean, I would like to see a world where you didn't have a draft just to see how teams would operate. But I feel like it'd get way out of whack, almost like what Brett's saying. Competitive balance would go out the window because some of these small market teams that stink would probably have zero chance of signing anybody.
Correct.
And then they kind of get stuck signing. It'd be like almost like college football where, Alabama could get 5-star prospects like waking up from sleep. But you look at like a smaller, like Coastal Carolina or something, where they're fighting and scrapping to, be relevant in a landscape that's kind of tough to be in. So they're going to consistently get 3-star, 2-star, and have to make the best of it, while the big names just easily get all the best prospects. It's kind of tough to operate that way as a league. But I do like what the NBA has done, where they've kind of lowered the weight with the worst team. Before, it was like you were guaranteed the number 1 pick. Now you might get top 3, but there's no guarantee you get number 1. So if you're tanking for one guy, you may not even get him. So that's the risk you got to take.
Wait, Brian, so I got a question to your question. So, like, does that factor in, like, D3 players, too? Because, like, there are some – normally D3 players own – I mean, after they finish their career –
then, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's so now that would make sense because I know a lot of players in the D3 league, they're pretty good. Not as good as, like, D2, D3, D1. But normally after they're done done their career at college, they're done. So I feel like everyone should have a chance, even to go to the G League,
I
too.
mean, you got Carson Wentz. He didn't play at Alabama, but he was drafted super high. So
that's a good
you
point.
still have, it doesn't matter. So if you are good and you're draft eligible, free agency
Yeah, like I
will still
know,
work.
I know a player that played at Montclair State, my college, and he's going to the NFL draft, D3 school. I mean, that's rare from Montclair. Like the last person who graduated from Montclair was Sam Mills, back played for the Panthers and Saints, and he passed away due to,
Yeah.
But that's
But
rare.
see,
So
and the reason I bring that up because even with the small market team that you have now, let's say Jacksonville. I mean, you in Florida, good weather. Why would you not? No state tax. If you're a
You
professional,
ever been to Gainesville?
Gainesville, yeah,
You ever been to Jacksonville?
Yeah, been to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
It's not Miami Beach, bro.
No, it's not Miami Beach, but that
No one wants to be in North Florida, bro.
But this is what I'm saying. So if you are a professional athlete, you got a $5 million contract. You're going to be in the state of Florida with no state tax, or you're going to New York, play for the Giants. You're going out to California, or you're going to one of them states to where 70% of your
California.
Okay.
Can I tell you why?
Go right ahead.
Endorsements.
Yeah.
Still getting in. Well, we're gonna semantic that one up because you can still get an endorsement. I don't care where you at.
Okay, let me
in Oklahoma City.
Give me the last signature athlete from Jacksonville.
Say what now?
Give me the last signature athlete from Jacksonville.
Trevor Lawrence.
He's not a signature athlete. Who's he signed to?
Nike, Gatorade.
Okay, so he's not a signature athlete. There's a big difference between an athlete that's signed to the Gatorade roster or the Nike roster or a signature athlete for the product. He's not a signature athlete. Let me ask you a question. Who's more marketable right now, Saquon Barkley or Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence.
No, I'm sorry.
Not true.
Barkley, because he's in the market.
I understand Saquon's in the New York market, but I ain't gonna be one to go there. But you tell me an NFL star quarterback that they're putting on this hype train. So the only thing he has to do is win a playoff game. Win a playoff game.
By the way, Trevor Lawrence had a bigger name at Clemson than he did Jacksonville.
That's true.
Yeah, because he was winning a national championship
at the time. The NIL thing wasn't happening.
If Trevor Lawrence messes around and makes a playoff run, and you're gonna see that golden boy on every single thing that you turn around and put out there, market wise.
I can't wait. I love the kid. I can't wait to shove it in some people's faces too. Y'all know. Kyle, what you got?
All right, so my question was, I just forgot it.
I got it.
All this conversation. Yeah, I honestly forgot what my question was.
So
wasn't it like in the playoffs? Like
I got
a player would
came back to you.
I got you.
So looking at wild card weekend, who was the player that would most benefit from a good performance and a win? And then who's the player that can at least afford a bad performance and a loss this weekend?
The only reason I transitioned right there, Brian, the only reason I transitioned right there is because the person that can most benefit from a win is Sunshine Trevor Lawrence. It's facts. You want to become a signature athlete. You want that hype train. You get a playoff win down in Jacksonville, Florida. Sunshine.
Well, I'm gonna go with for the first part. It was a player that it was the player who was good. I think I'm gonna go with his opponent, Josh Herbert, because I mean,
Josh Herbert.
Did I say Josh Herbert?
Yeah.
My bad, y'all.
All right.
Josh Herbert. I mean, if you're talking about markets, LA. He's in LA. If people want to put him in a category as Josh Allen and Mahomes. I mean, this game, I think it's a half-point spread. So it's not like a blowout game. So I mean, this is a game where he can shine. Obviously, Mike Williams is out. I mean, he has Keenan Allen. But if he wants to really etch his name in that top tier elite category of QBs, which he probably is, almost there in that tier. This playoffs is a perfect chance for him to shine and market himself even more as a QB. So I'm going with Herbert. If you're talking about markets, because he's in Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, so he's in LA, so that's a bigger market. So.
It's fair. Okay. I think Chargers fans are worse than Jaguars fans, if I'm being honest with you,
though. As far as just as far as being the worst.
I'm not kidding with you. I want you to do this after the show.
Yeah.
I want you to look at the stats of home versus visiting fans in SoFi during Chargers games this year. It's insanity.
Yes.
Like they sell tickets there because it's LA. People want to go to LA. But it is insanity. There's been multiple home games that they had less of the home crowd than their opponents did. It's wild to me.
Yeah. That's a wild stat.
Brian, who do you think? I like that answer though, Big J. I do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Player that'll benefit the most from a win.
Yep. Let's start there.
Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
I thought about it. Yep.
Captain Kirk. I don't think he benefits from a win in Wild Card Weekend. I think he's expected to get a win in Wild Card Weekend. They're playing the Giants.
Oh, I don't think if it's expected. They should win, but
and they're playing the Giants.
Right,
9-7-1.
But that's the thing. Primetime Kirk Cousins. Everyone expects him to be your regular old Kirk Cousins that comes out
Sunday night game
and lose that game. I think they do.
No, I think Sunday night is Ravens Bengals. I think.
Yeah, Ravens Bengals is Sunday night.
I think they're the 4:30 game. I think they're the
4:30.
The only game on. We've seen him struggle.
Saturday 4:30.
Oh, okay. I thought he had that primetime game, and that's why I was like, Kirk Cousins, boy, because everybody think he's gonna expect him to lose every primetime game because he has.
All right, give me one, Kyle.
I was surprised Jordan didn't go this route. How about Lamar?
That's correct.
I mean,
is Lamar playing?
See, that's why. I mean, I was gonna say Lamar, but I
don't know if he's playing. Is he playing?
Yeah. See, John Harbaugh.
I mean, it's
every time I watch John Harbaugh in the press, every time I watch John Harbaugh,
fraud ever.
See, every time I watch. Go ahead, Jordan.
No, I was gonna say every time I watch the press conferences, recently, when the press be like, "Hey, is Lamar coming back?" I think John Harbaugh's being smart. He's like, "Oh, I don't know." I think he knows that Lamar's healthy, knowing that it's playoff time, wild card weekend. I mean, he's not really giving. He's giving
Cincinnati's preparing for Lamar Jackson.
You think they are?
Come on.
Because if Lamar doesn't play,
if Lamar does not show up wild card weekend, we got questions.
Bro, it was a 3-week injury. He's been out 6 weeks now.
I'd be out 6 weeks too if I ain't get that contract yet.
He's he's the biggest fraud ever if he doesn't play this weekend.
But what reports are saying is
no contract.
Reports are leaning towards him coming back, but they say when the injury report will come out Wednesday.
Brian,
if he beats Cincinnati, that price tag goes up.
Brian, let me ask you.
He risked playing all year without a contract guarantee and could have gotten hurt at any point this year. He risked it. So you might as well just finish the job at this point.
And that's why he's sitting down now. Because he said,
I
got hurt.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Go ahead.
You said no contract, right?
Yeah.
So how's he playing?
Well, no extension because he's still on that rookie deal.
Okay. You said no contract.
Yeah, no new contract.
He's under contract.
Yeah, he's under
contract. What
contract.
is the requirement?
I think G meant you were trying to.
Oh, I know. No. I meant Brian. Brian said no contract.
Yeah, I know.
So let me ask you a question, Brian.
Yep.
Because you said no contract, no extension.
Yeah.
Do you think the Ravens have offered him an extension?
Oh, yeah, I know they have.
Okay, Big J, have the Ravens offered him an extension?
I think it was 133 over 6 years.
Okay, but they offered the money.
Yeah.
Turn it down.
Yeah.
Is he under contract?
Yeah, he's still on that rookie
deal.
Don't
tell me he ain't got no contract.
No, he's under contract.
You want to turn it down to bet on yourself? You show up to play the goddamn game. He's a fraud.
Hey, man.
If he beats Cincinnati, that only raises the price tag. He has to.
Don't argue. And see, but that's my thing. If you don't beat Cincinnati, he comes out there and looks just as average as he can. What is that going to do to his money?
Nothing.
I mean, at worst, he probably just gets the contract they offered before the season. Take that.
The whole
Yeah, he
offense
bet
is
on
built
himself
around
to get
Lamar.
more, and it didn't work. But that's unfortunate.
See, I was gonna say Lamar. I was gonna go that route, but I want to go a different route. But just because
No,
I wanted to,
I respected Jordan.
All right, I'm gonna give the one. I'm gonna give the one that can't lose.
Okay.
Biggest problem if he loses. Dakota Rain.
There you go.
Dakota Rain.
Yeah.
Bro, listen. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys always find a way. Listen, I'm not a Stephen A. Smith fan. I'm really not. I'm just not. However, he's so right about the Dallas Cowboys. They always find a way to screw it up. And now you're seeing them in a situation where they got to go play at Tom Brady. The answer is Dakota Rain. I'll be back, gentlemen.
All right. I mean, Brett.
And I don't disagree with that because that was my. I was thinking Dak is the one that cannot lose, but then I started thinking, and this was the one that I was going to say because I think you got three quarterbacks that they're the same where you can't afford best to win it and you can't afford to lose it, and that's Herbert for the Chargers because it'll benefit him the most. But if he loses it yet again, he just looks like, okay, you're this golden child that can't get there, and everybody wants to put you in this top tier quarterback. But then I look at Josh Allen because you are talked about as MVP, top 3, surpassing Patrick Mahomes. You cannot come out wild card weekend and lose and not make it to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl yet again. And for people to continue to talk about you as if you are Patrick Mahomes.
I think my quarterback that can't afford to lose is Joe Burrow. I mean, AFC North. It's hard to say. AFC North chance. The hype train is all over them. Joe Mixon, they got Jamar Chase. They have no excuses to not to lose. So, but they do play the Ravens. So I mean, y'all have been saying Bengals over Ravens, but hey, if the Ravens beat the Bengals, man, they're gonna be like, oh, Joe, shit. I don't know.
I forgot about that.
I think you're on mute.
No, I gotta hop back in here real quick.
I'm about to say, I think Burrow's rich.
Don't be saying no blasphemous shit about Joe Burrow.
I'm not, but I'm answering the question.
He's the quarterback that can't most afford a loss.
That's what Jordan said.
Jordan, you're wrong.
How am I wrong?
I'm at sixth place.
They're the AFC North champs.
Is he missing a left tackle?
Yeah.
Is he missing a right tackle?
Yeah.
Is he missing a right guard?
According to Kyle, they're going to win.
They are going to win. That's not the point. Yeah. Is he missing a right guard?
Yeah.
Has he made a Super Bowl?
He had. I think lost.
Okay, so it's his third year. Really, second, if you want to be honest. He tore his ACL, the fifth game? So are you telling me that Joe Burrow can't afford a loss more than Lamar Jackson can afford a loss?
So what are they going to say if Baltimore upsets the Bengals on Sunday? They're going to say,
they're going to say Lamar Jackson finally won a playoff game.
Yeah.
I just figure, Bengals are the favorites to get the Super Bowl again, so they can't afford to lose.
But they're not the favorite. The Chiefs are the favorite. The Bills are the favorites. They're the third favorite.
I don't know. I'm going with Joe Burrow because I just can't think
of anything. Joe Burrow because you're a damn Ravens fan.
That's exactly yeah.
I'm literally on and off the phone with the situation that's happening in my store right now. I heard you say some blasphemous shit about Joe Burrow. I had to hang the damn phone up. Get back on here and tell you how.
Put him on hold, man. Don't have to hang up on him.
That is wild. You talking about a man in his second year in the NFL, really his first. I swear to you, it's his first. He made the Super Bowl. Won a game at Kansas City. The AFC Championship game at Kansas City after being down 21-3. was one drive away from winning the Super Bowl. If he gets an extra half a second, he throws a touchdown pass to Jamar Chase and they win the damn Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He can't afford a loss.
I definitely hear you, man.
Number 1 seed Lamar Jackson, who lost in his first playoff game as a number 1 seed in league MVP, he can afford a loss, but not Joe Burrow. Are you out of your damn mind?
Well,
Kyle,
this is
who you got, Kyle?
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually going to go with Kirk Cousins only because if they lose, Kirk Cousins' reputation takes another hit. There'll be all the people who thought the Vikings were frauds this year will be proven right. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins in Minnesota to win this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of falls into what you were saying, Brian, as one of those guys who probably needs it the most and can least afford it. So you could kind of work him either way. But I when I thought of the question, I thought about Kirk Cousins. He can't lose this weekend. Can't happen.
If Kirk Cousins loses this weekend, he will not be the opening day starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings next year. If Kirk Cousins loses this weekend, he will not be the opening day quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. They will give up on him. And I'll tell you right now, the reason I said Dak is because they're stuck with him. Could you imagine paying that man $40 million? Did you watch what he did versus Washington this year?
How much is Kirk's contract?
Kirk Cousins is on a year-to-year basis, man. Let me see Kirk Cousins.
Because I thought he's another one that signed that fully guaranteed contract where he was getting paid $30 million.
Term. I got you, though. Kirk Cousins contract. He signed a 3-year, $84 million contract in 2018. Then he signed hold on. Let me just see his contract breakdown.
I thought they was on the hook for another like $60 million with him.
The Minnesota decided to extend him through the 2023 season this year. So he has next year for $35 million.
30, yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Which is nowhere near what they're paying. Dak gets 50 next year.
Yeah.
Are y'all out of your damn mind? Would you rather pay Kirk Cousins 35 or Dak 50?
Give me that 35 all day.
Exactly.
You're getting the same production.
Kirk. I feel like Kirk
I won't tell you what Amari Cooper called him. I'm gonna leave that. That's not my place to say that shit. You know what's funny? When you really look at this? Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott have the exact same situation, but Dak has a better defense. Exact same situation. Elite number 1 receiver, decent number 2 receiver, decent backfield with 2 running backs, a decent offensive line. It's just Dak has better defense. Dak has Michael Parsons. Dak has Trevon Diggs. That's the difference.
And DeMarcus Lawrence, right?
Yeah, Lawrence in there.
Yep.
That's the only difference.
With that middle linebacker, Van something.
They had the same record this year, right? I actually think the Vikings have one game better record or the same record, whatever it was. They're same record, and the difference is Dak Prescott has the defense and Kirk Cousins does. Talk about a fraud. Dallas is a bunch of frauds. I can't wait. I'll tell you right now, I hope they beat Tom Brady. I hope they beat Tampa Bay. Because I hope, and listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I will throw a parade if the Giants beat Minnesota, because that means the Giants got to play at Philadelphia next week. Like, that would be so ideal. Mm-hmm. I hope that happens. I'll be rooting for that. Because I want so badly, and it would be even better if it was in the NFC Championship game. I want the Dallas-San Francisco game in the semifinals, and I'll take either one of them coming in Philly. I'll take either one. I said this Sunday morning, and I'll tell you this right now. 49ers fans that are listening, and then we'll wrap up shortly. 49ers fans that are listening, if Brock Purdy and the 49ers come into Philadelphia, they will get beat 100-0. I'm telling you right now. Brock Purdy is not coming into Philadelphia and winning a playoff game. It is not happening. If I was Philadelphia's offense coordinator, I'd kneel the ball 3 times and punt. Go ahead. Move the ball. Ain't happening. You are out of your damn – no way. I'm telling you. Give me Brock Purdy. Listen, I'll put it this way. If Dallas or San Fran is playing at Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game, just book it to the Super Bowl. Just book it.
With San Fran's defense, really.
Listen, San Fran's defense can't help them on offense.
True.
And the Philadelphia Eagles offense is so, like, they have so many
They
wrinkles.
got Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel.
It doesn't matter. When you know the quarterback cannot beat you. Because the problem is not how many teams have matched up with San Francisco during this run of Brock Purdy. How many teams can throw out Darius Slay and James Bradbury and say, go play one-on-one versus Debo and Brandon Ayuk, and we'll throw everybody else in the box to protect Kittle, McCaffrey, and the run.
Yeah.
How many teams can line up that way? They can't. So the situation is, and I'm not like, listen, we can say what we want to say. San Francisco has got one of the best defenses in the NFL. But watch it, ready? I'm going to read it to you. I want you to tell me the elite defense that they just took down. Cardinals.
Nah.
Raiders.
Nah.
Commanders.
Not elite,
Seahawks.
but they're good.
Stop. Seahawks.
Nah.
Buccaneers.
Nah.
Dolphins.
Nah.
Nope.
Well,
The best one out there would have been the Commanders.
Brett, you're absolutely correct. You're
And how is Hurts 100%?
No.
Nah.
That's another factor.
Did you watch yesterday? They were so worried about getting him hurt.
Yeah, I heard
They
it. I heard
told
it.
him, do not get hit.
He wanted to play too.
Well, he was still holding the ball like he was 100% healthy. I'm like, bro, get rid of the ball. What are you doing?
If Hurts goes down, that's a big factor for y'all.
Facts.
If Hurts goes down, it's all over.
I think Hurts will be 100% come playoff game. I think they were really trying to like just make sure he didn't get dinged up in a game where the Giants weren't playing anyone. They actually played the most vanilla offense I've ever seen them play all year. You could tell they didn't try anything. They didn't do anything. They were just trying to get out of that game with a win and get out of that game healthy, which they did get out of the game healthy. So you give him another week to rest that shoulder, and I think that he'll be fine. I think that you'll see Hurts running people over in that NFC divisional game. Playoffs come. Lane Johnson's coming back. Avonte Maddox is coming back. They both said they're going to make the playoff roster. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's already back. Man, that Eagles team gets healthy. That same Eagles team gets all their starters back.
Yeah. Don't be a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
I forgot they got that.
Eagles will be tough for sure.
They had a little break because I forgot they got. I thought they played this weekend, but no.
I know you're not used to the bye, Jordan. I get it.
All right, we'll be. I got no words.
Any final?
Eugene got me there.
I wanted to ask this question. We'll get off the national championships on. I don't want to take. We're already over time by 9 minutes. But greatest college defense you've ever seen. I'll start with mine. Last year's Georgia Bulldogs. Best college defense I've ever watched in my entire life.
I was about to say the same thing. That Georgia defense was.
I was gonna go Georgia too.
I'm gonna say that.
The Alabama guy in Georgia. You picked
Yeah, but I'm gonna have some nice ones. But
they had some nice plays on defense last year. But Georgia had the better defense.
I think about that Ndamukong Suh Nebraska team, where he was just running ram shot through an entire offensive line every single play. Him by himself.
Are we talking about the best defensive team that we've seen recently, or just ever? Oh, now I'm going Alabama, man. Because they got Mosley, they had some ball hawkers, man. Marlon Humphrey. So, yeah, you can roll your eyes, Kyle. Sorry.
I just think Humphrey is just overrated.
Now, Miami Hurricanes had a couple. They had a couple of teams where you knew the names that were there, and they made it to the NFL. But I just don't know if they completely just shut people down the way that they should have with the amount of talent that they had on those defenses.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to those teams.
see that's
Yeah, the 01 Hurricanes. They talking
yeah.
about. Yeah. I get it.
They should have.
That last season Georgia team was unfair. They were unfair.
Mhm.
They had
That was
Javon Walker, number 1 overall pick. They had Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle that was drafted by the Green Bay Packers.
Davis.
They had hold on, Jordan Davis drafted by the Eagles in the first round. They had Nakobe Dean, who was the heart and soul of that team that was drafted by the Eagles in the 3rd round, which should have never went to the 3rd round because of some shoulder. No problem. We'll take them. They had Quay Walker, linebacker, drafted in the 1st round by the Green Bay Packers. They had Keely Ringo, who's going to be the 1st or 2nd cornerback off the board this year. They had safety, I forget his name. He's going to be in the 1st round this year. That defense was – I'm not kidding with you. If you put that defense, the whole defense, together in the NFL this year, because all of them are – most of them are NFL players now, they'd be a top 15 defense.
Yeah.
In the NFL, I've never seen anything like it.
As long as Quay Walker doesn't
and they had
push
Javon
medical
Carter.
staff.
Will be the top 3 pick this year.
I heard that one, Kyle.
What do you say?
I said as long as Quay Walker doesn't push medical staff personnel just randomly like he did last night.
What a joke.
Oh, but he wasn't the only one. Did you see? Because 95 came in.
You know who that was?
And
You know who that was?
Nah.
Was that Devontae Campbell? Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was Wyatt from Georgia.
Yep.
They're teammates. They've been teammates from Georgia to now. You know what's funny? The Packers and the Eagles both drafted defensive tackle linebacker combos from Georgia. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all wait to see it. Listen, I know that it hasn't came yet, but y'all wait to see when Nakobe Dean brings to this league. He was behind TJ Edwards, who had a great year, and Kasir White. And I'm telling you right now, when this man gets his opportunity, he will shine. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we wrap up and watch this national championship?
Who y'all going for?
Go Dogs.
Georgia. They're already up 10-0.
I mean, TCU is a nice little story, but yeah, they haven't seen anything like Georgia, so
yeah, I'm going Georgia.
I'm not even the biggest Stetson Bennett fan.
See, I'm not a Stetson Bennett fan because he just reminds me of every Georgia quarterback for the last 10 years, and I'm tired of seeing that same quarterback that can't translate to the NFL. But I'm interested.
Did you know Stetson Bennett and Lamar Jackson were born the same year?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that wild?
I don't know how that. I mean, that's a fact.
Jordan had the same reaction that most people do. Stetson Bennett's 25 playing college.
Yeah.
Usually you don't say that unless it's like BYU.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
25 playing college football.
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett is older than Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how Lamar got. I know his talent in college.
Lamar came out of first-year eligibility.
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett is in his 7th-year eligibility with the COVID.
Yeah, he didn't redshirt because Stetson Bennett was redshirted 2-3 times.
Right.
So,
Quay is super talented. We got to sign a therapist on the staff for him. Dude's a hothead, but he is super talented. He is super talented. Nakobe Dean's better though. But I appreciate y'all tuning in to the Cheap Seats podcast. We have a fun time barbershop talk. I apologize to everybody listening and to my co-host for being in and out. A work emergency did happen tonight, so I apologize. But thank you guys for holding it down. I appreciate y'all. And until next week, this is the Cheap Seats.
We out.